a quick story about a young Coach Meyer. He would drive 7 hours to hear Tom Osborne speak for about 15 minutes and then drive all the way back through the night and be ready for the next day of practice. But that was his hunger, and that was such a part of the culture that we had, was a hunger for improvement, to be better, to find the next steps, no matter what it took.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would two men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom, now they're here. It's the Thrivetime show starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zillner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Started from the bottom, and now we're at the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio, and now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Folks, the reality is even if you have a wonderful gift that you want to give humanity for the betterment of humanity, even if you had the cure for a certain disease, even if you had a sincere desire to make the world a better place, it doesn't matter if the world won't receive it, if the world won't buy it, if the world won't believe in it. And so we're going to focus on today is teaching you how to grow a successful company. And I'm assuming that you're watching today's show and you have a great product or a great service that you're excited to share with the world. And I'm going to teach you the 4 basic steps of how to become a super successful entrepreneur. And here to discuss this topic is a man who has a business that he started for the betterment of humanity, a man who wants to help more people get healthy, a man who actually believes in what he's selling, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if he can't sell it. And so he has learned how to nail and scale his business model. His name is Dr. Sherwood. The name of his practice is Sherwood.tv. It's Sherwood.tv. That is the home website for his practice. Without any further ado, Dr. Sherwood, welcome onto the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
Doing well, Clay. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, so let's get into the 4 steps of entrepreneurship. There's 4 steps. Step number 1, you have to find a problem. So at Sherwood.tv, tell the listeners out there, what are the problems that you solve? Because again, if you're a landscaper, you have to solve a problem. If you have a haircut chain, you have to solve a problem. If you're a mortgage banker, you have to solve a problem. No matter what business you have to solve a problem. That is what you have to do.
Well, from our perspective, the problem is the state of America's health. It's terrible. And I think no one listening today would argue with that statement. We're in the worst position regarding the health of our nation than we've ever been before with our physical health. And so we provide real answers to that. Our mission statement is to lead people down the pathway of true healing. And to that end, we create unique, personalized plans for the person that we're working with to help them overcome, build resilience, and create more of this disease resistance focused position that we have. And so, we don't worry about sickness, disease, lack, and all that mess. We just try to create a plan to get them out of that sick model, out of that health model, and create a new pathway for them.
So again, folks, if you're keeping a score, if you're taking notes at home here, there's 4 steps to entrepreneurship. Step 1, you have to find a problem that you can solve. Steve Currington, a longtime client, everybody will be hearing from Steve on part 2 of today's show. He has a mortgage business. What does he do? He sells death grips, huh? That's what the word mortgage means. He sells mortgages. So what he does is, for anybody out there who wants to buy a house, he makes it affordable for people to buy houses. So the problem he solves is people need access to money to buy a house. Dr. Sherwood, the problem he works with, the problems he solves, are he helps people that have a desire to optimize their health. But again, ask yourself today, folks, what are the problems that you solve for your ideal and likely buyers? Step number 2, you have to have a list of solutions. Yeah, you have to have, you can't just propose problems, which is one of the issues I have with politics in general, is you can't just propose problems, you have to propose solutions. So again, step number 1, find the problems that you solve. Step number 2, you have to provide solutions. Dr. Sherwood, can you tell us a little bit more about the solutions that you provide at Sherwood.tv?
Yeah, and solutions, I would also, from our perspective, they got to be specific and not just general. We can't just say clean up your diet, exercise more. Those are general solutions. We actually come up with specific nutritional plans, specific exercise plans, specific sleep plans, specific de-stressing mechanisms and plans. We work on their genetics, get their hormones right, their peptides right, and get their supplements right. So we're working specifically on all 8 areas with the pathway that we developed to get them out of that thing. So it's not a general solution; it's a very personalized solution.
Step number 2, again, step number 1, folks, is find a problem. Step number 2 is find a solution. Step number 3 is you eventually have to sell the solution. Now, this is a thing that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with for reasons I don't quite understand, but that's okay. If you go to Sherwood.tv, the solutions aren't free. And I'm going to go pull up a lot of examples real quick so people can see this. I have a lot of clients I've worked with over the years that have great products, wonderful products. And for whatever reason, certain entrepreneurs are hesitant to sell the solution. So let me give you an example. One of my longtime clients, this is a longtime client, it's called Cavell Fit. Turns out his gym is not free. So if you want to go to Boise, Idaho, and you want to get in great shape, guess what? His gym is not free. His gym's not free? His gym's not free. I think his gym is his gym free? What? No, it's not free. Why isn't his gym free? Because it's not. He has to provide an income for his family. He has to provide for his wife. Again, so step 1, find the problem. All right. Step number 2, propose the solutions. Step number 3, you have to sell the solution. One of my longtime clients, this just in, he does not provide his solutions for free. Huh? Yeah, colawfitness.com. Very successful company. Great guy, owned by Amber and Charles Kolaw. Great business, colawfitness.com. This just in, they sell the solution. Many people have heard about shawhomes.com. They just sold the company, actually. But shawhomes.com, this just in, we helped them grow from, $14 million to $140 million. And they sold solutions. Oxyfresh.com, this just did. They sell carpet cleaning services. People say, man, you're giving a lot of solutions here, buddy. Are you going to move on? No. HoodCPAs.com, they provide solutions and they sell those solutions. Someone says, that seems pretty heavy-handed. I can't believe they would sell a solution. Spurl, an accountant based in Canada, longtime client of mine. Guess what he does? He sells the solution. My haircut chain, elephant in the room. Guess what? This just in. We sell the solution. Dr. Zellner, Robert Zellner, longtime client of mine, longtime friend of mine. Guess what? He sells the solution. Guess what? Z66 is auto auction. He sold the solution so well, he just sold the company. I'm telling you, folks, if you're out there today and you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to sell something. Dr. Sherwood, tell us about this, because I think a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck in their head, which is what happens before you're dead. You have to eventually sell something, sir.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, Clay, are scared to ask for money. They're scared to understand value. Value is not the perceptor, the receiver. So when I look at people, I'm not afraid. I'm not really, in a sense, trying to sell them anything. I'm trying to tell them the value of what we do. So if you can communicate the value of what you do, the value speaks for itself, and it's not free. Health's not free. Going to the Ritz-Carlton for a night is not free. But in both cases, they both cost less than a hospital stay per night. So I'm like, man, this is no brainer. I want people to pay money. I want them to actually feel some skin in the game, because I want them to understand it takes effort to be healthy. Just like if you want to be a professional athlete or a good athlete, you don't do what everybody else does. You do what everybody else doesn't do. And so it's the same way with us. I don't apologize for them at all. We're not cheap. Don't want to be cheap. Want to be perceived. If you want to go to the best, you come and see the best. And I think that perception should be communicated business-wise. I talked to the staff this morning about culture. You need to have a culture It has a Ritz-Carlton mindset, and it means that everybody gets treated like the Cadillac they are. And if you can communicate that belief and value, people will pay for it.
Again, folks, I'm hoping I'm being an effective teacher. There are no bad students. There are just bad teachers. So, again, step one, you have to find a problem. Step two, you have to provide a solution. Step number three, you have to sell the solution. And step number four, you have to nail it and scale it. And so many people, when they hear about nailing it and scaling it, they go, I don't know what to do right there because I've never done that. And it starts to feel overwhelmed, feelings of I feel overwhelmed. I don't know where to get started. That's what I do is I help people nail it and scale it. And so I'm giving everybody a free solution right now. Someone says, a free solution? I thought you had to sell something. I always provide all my books for free. There's over 30 books you can download for free. You can go right now, thrivetimeshow.com/free resources. You can download my book, A Millionaire's Guide, How to Become Sustainably Rich. I walk you through all the solutions there. Now, if you want to buy the book, that'd be great because after Jeff Bezos makes his fee in Amazon.com, I make about $2 per copy, I believe, here. So if you type in Millionaire's Guide, Clay Clark, you should be able to buy the book there, and we sell thousands of copies. And again, so if you want to pay me dozens of dollars this year, folks, you can buy 6 copies. You can buy the book. We provide the book download for free there at thrivetimeshow.com/free resources. Now, if you want to come to one of our in-person workshops, we do those every 2 months. I've been doing them for 20 years. It's hard to believe. For 20 years, I've been doing these. Eric Trump and Robert Kiyosaki are joining us at the next one. That's President Trump's son, Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He'll be joining us. And so it's going to be a blasty blast. But I encourage everybody out there. Again, I don't apologize that I sell tickets to our conferences. However, I do something kind of unique for our conferences. I've been doing it this way for 20 years. I tell people, if you're in a tight spot, I grew up poor, I get it. You can name your price. So you can come to our conference. You can buy a ticket for $250. But if you're in a tough spot, you can name your price. So we want to make it affordable for everybody. And Dr. Sherwood, if you did not have a viable business, you couldn't do a lot of the benevolent things that you do that we're not going to mention on today's show. But there's a lot of things you give to and a lot of causes you believe in. And a lot of times you volunteer your time and a lot of charities and organizations you support. You do a lot of benevolent things, but you couldn't do it if you hadn't nailed it and scaled it. So as we look at these rules and we recap what we've learned today, step one, you provide a list of problems that you think the world has. Folks, that's homework number one. Write down a list of problems that you think the world has. Step number two, provide a list of solutions that you think you can provide to solve those problems. Step number three, you got to sell something. You got to sell the solution. And step number four, you have to nail it and scale it. To put a bow on it, or is there any thoughts you want to share about those 4 steps? Because I think a lot of people get stuck in one of those steps. You're not stuck in those steps, but a lot of people do get stuck in those steps. And I think there's somebody watching today's show that might need a little bit of mentorship or encouragement from you there, sir.
Yeah, I think a lot of times, Clay, people get stuck in what I call poverty mentality. They don't believe they can get out of that box they're in. They think that they have to be always working in the business instead of on the business. And that's one thing that I've learned over the course of the last 15 years. I've learned that if I want to scale something, I have to find systems in place that actually create passive income sources so that I don't get stuck having to do all the work myself, so that the system works for itself. It still fulfills the same purpose, just like you just talked about, giving away free resources. We do that. That's a great thing. That expands your net. It gets people interested. It gets them. It's like it's something they can digest and use, and it builds the influence base. And with that said, the larger you can build your influence base, the more you can scale the business influence. And it gives you the opportunity to do more than you ever thought you could do, because money, in a sense, is a tool. And the more you keep your hands open, the more your hands can be filled along those principal lines.
Again, folks, I'm going to pull this up real quick here. This is Sherwood.tv. That's the website. That's where you go to get the solutions. Sherwood.tv. Let's recap the solutions that Dr. Sherwood provides. One, health optimization. So if you want to unlock your potential, you want to start living younger, go to Sherwood.tv. I've seen people in my life, people that I know well, family members of mine, lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds, optimize their health. Literally, I've seen people in 6 months lose 40 pounds, 50 pounds. I've seen it time and time again. That's Sherwood.tv. Second, if you just say, I'm looking for a family doctor I can trust, that's Sherwood.tv. And finally, if you want to stock up on some solutions and some products where you say, I'm looking to get some healthy meal replacement options that are going to last a long time. They're designed to last a long time, have a long shelf life, but they're organic in nature. Check out Sherwood.tv. Final 30 seconds we have there, Dr. Sherwood. What say you?
No, people need to take actions. I mean, we all can look at the world and see the problems, become a problem solver, become a solution-oriented person, and realize that everybody's got a purpose out there to do something that's benefiting to mankind. And so that's what my wife and I do. We just found our passion, and we found a place that we can do that. And I'm connected to you, and I encourage people to do exactly what you said today. Get connected to you as well. Go to the business conferences, download the resources, pick the brains of people that you want to learn from and be like. And whoever you hang out with the most, you become like. And so I like hanging out with Clay Clark.
Dr. Sherwood, thank you so much for carving out time for us as always, and we'll talk to you next week, sir.
Sounds great.
Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people talk about having success. A lot of people want to have success, but there is a proven path to achieve success. And about 4 years ago, I had the opportunity to connect with somebody by the name of Dr. Mark Sherwood. My good friend Aaron Antis swore by the results of Dr. Sherwood. My good friend Pastor Craig Hagan swore by the results of Dr. Sherwood. And we had a chance to team up, and it's been an honor to team up with his practice and to help him grow his medical practice. And if you're out there today and you want to grow your business, on today's show, we're going to talk about growing your business and what happens when you diligently implement a proven plan. And here to talk about it is Dr. Sherwood. Welcome on to the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing well, Clay. Thanks for having me. And it has been an honor, hasn't it? What a ride and what a journey it's been.
Now, without getting into the specific financial numbers, you and I were talking offline, and I believe since you and I first talked on the phone to today, I believe you're about 7 times larger. Is that an accurate number? Am I getting that number wrong in some capacity?
No, it's at least 7, closer to 8. Yeah.
And that's so many people talk about growing their business by 2% or 5% or 12%. I want to give people some real facts here. We're going to go here to Inc. I'm going to do a search right now on Google. I want everyone to do it with me. Assume I'm making this up. Inc. magazine reports that 96% of businesses fail. That's according to Inc. magazine. That's not clayclark.com. 96%. Now, if you go to usdebtclock.com, which is, by the way, a great way to get depressed. If you go to usdebtclock.org, you'll see that in America today, we only have 9.3 million self-employed people and a country of 336 million. So if even 10% of our country was self-employed, that'd be 36 million self-employed people. But we only have 9 million self-employed people. So we're talking about, it's like less than 3% of our population is even self-employed to begin with. And so if less than 3% of our population is self-employed, and 96% of businesses fail, by default, folks, you've got, it's a very, very small percentage chance of being successful by default. And so what I want to focus on is the implementing a proven path and a proven system. So step number 1, since you and I have connected, I didn't teach this to you, but you do it. You diligently implement a plan. Can you talk about that? Because every week, you and I, we connect every week, in this case, there's a plan that you do, and I won't get into all the details, but you do it every single week. You do it in the gym. You do it in your business. Talk about implementing a proven routine every day.
Well, I think the end of the story of a routine is it produces predictability. And so I look at it like this, good habits done consistently over time provides reliability, which gives you consistency, which gives you faithfulness, which gives you trust. Now, trust is a big deal. Does that trust mean you trust yourself? I hope so. Does it trust mean that your customers or clientele trust you? They do, because it's predictable. The thing that people can't stand, Clay, is unpredictability or chaos or just anxiety that's driven in businesses. So we facilitate that culture from the top down, the bottom up. And as you mentioned, every day, I get up and I'm very routine, and so are you. We started working together I remember you telling me you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, blah, 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 blah. And I do, I probably wake up about an hour after you, boom, boom, boom. But it's very predictable. People know where we are, what we're going to do, what we're about, and it creates an expectation. And I think that, among other things, has been a key element to experiencing, the 800% growth we've had, which is to me, it wasn't that hard because it's a process that works.
Now, next question I want to ask you is focus on what you need to do, but then say no to the things you don't need to do. Again, you have to say no to grow. So yes, you're diligent and you're consistent, but you're also saying no to grow. And now there are billboards, there are magazines, there are yellow pages. Yes, there are still a few yellow pages. There are billboards, there's magazines. There's local cable TV. There's so many different ways that you could be marketing your business, but you've had to say no to grow. You've had to focus on, and you and your wife, you guys do books, you do documentaries, you do podcast interviews. You have a proven path, a proven trajectory that you're on, but you do have to say no to grow. And sometimes you have to say no to good things in order to say yes to great things. Can you talk about the importance of saying no to grow?
Yeah, specifically in our job, what we do, which is a kind of a wellness based optimization of health practice, right? So the bottom line is I run everything through that filter. And our filter is, does it bring healing to the person? Does it bring betterment to the person? And there's all kinds of procedures, gizmos, gadgets, and whatnots out here that we could get involved in. But I always look at it from this standpoint. It's got to run through that filter and it's got to pass the test. Is it going to take us more time? Is it going to take us more labor? What's the expense of it going to be originally? And what's it going to take for us to recoup the expense, if any? And so I run it through that filter every single time. And if it doesn't hash out, it may be a good thing, but it's not a good thing for us. And people don't understand that. But sometimes the greatest answer is no, because it's a no that protects you from getting hurt. And you mentioned all that advertising mess out there. Clay, we've been approached by, as you know, many, many people to advertise in all kinds of markets. But if you don't know what kind of person that you're after, what is your target demographic, then you can't just throw spitballs out there at the different sources, because you will waste your time and money. And again, in that area, advertising, no to grow is critical.
Now, the next area I want to focus on is having a linear workflow or a mapped out workflow or a written down process. So many business owners don't have a written down process. So let me just give people an example. I'm going to go up to my website, then I'll go to your website so people can see this. Very predictable. If people go to thrivetimeshow.com, which, by the way, folks, we have about 5 to 10 people a day that often reach out looking for help growing their company. Now, I only take on 160 clients. That's not a spiritual number. That's not a reason. I don't do that for any spiritual reason. It's just I have found that with my team, I like to not have more than 160 clients so that I can meet all my clients. Mm-hmm. And those clients, they schedule a free consultation. And in order to do that, I have a kind of a call screener that sets up an appointment. They hop on the phone. They find out if they're a good fit for a free consultation. Then my team books the free consultation for me. And because our average client is with us for 6 years or longer, if you do the math, we have an opening for a new client about every month or so. So if you look at TWA Photos, this is one of my longtime clients based in Chicago. Him, and we're going to hear his success story on part 2 of today's show. He reached out. He filled out the form. A member of my team called Tim to see if he was a good fit. I then coached Tim on the first call, found out he's a good fit, did my assessment, found out he's a good fit, coached him through what we're going to do, laid out the proven plan. True story, and you're going to hear it on part 2 of today's show. Tim went on to build a very, very successful company, and he sold his business. Well, when he sold his business for a big-time exit, guess what that did? That created an opening for another client. And so the process we have over and over and over is you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you can schedule a free consultation. My call screener vets that person to see if they're a good fit. If they are a good fit, they do an onboarding with myself. Also, we have conference tickets. We do a conference every 2 months. And I've been doing this since 2005. So since 2005, I've been essentially doing the same process over and over and over. That's why when you click on testimonials, you will literally see thousands of client success stories, just thousands, not 100, not 50, but thousands. So I want to see if you can walk us through, what does the workflow look like when people go to Sherwood.tv? What does that workflow look like?
It's fascinating. And again, you and I just kind of hit it off because we think the same way. So we have, we have an opportunity. People visit our website and we get, hundreds of visitors every day, and people can fill out a little questionnaire. It's like a health assessment questionnaire. It's free. And they get put through a series of, funnel emails to sort of qualify what they want to do. And it sort of kind of vets them at the outset. But if they want to work with us, just like yourself, we have a free webinar that they can go to. At that point, after attending the webinar, Clay, they then have the opportunity at that point to schedule a one-on-one assessment intake appointment with my wife or myself. At that appointment, we determine whether or not they're a good fit. If they're a good fit, we develop a plan for those and execute the same plan with the same formula. It's more personalized for their lives, much like you personalize that plan with the same general processes for that business. We personalize that plan of the same general processes for their life.
Now, when people work with me, with my business, and I'm not a medical business, I have a proven process and a proven system. And so when people go and they go to thrivetimeshow.com and they look at the different success stories, we have companies like oxyfresh.com. We've helped them to grow now to 570 locations, 570. And I could go on just listing examples all day. We take companies like Shaw Homes, help them grow from $15 million to $150 million of revenue. And we just have so many success stories. It truly is epic. And that's why the parent company is called Make Your Life Epic. That is what we do, make your life epic. Dr. Sherwood, I would say what he does is very analogous to what we do for business, he does for your body. Yeah. And so, I believe what he does, Dr. Sherwood, Sherwood.tv, what he does for your body is very analogous to what we do for business. We guide people down a proven path, and we actually tell people before they decide to become a client what the path is. We tell people, this is what we're going to do to get you from where you are to where you want to be. Now, I know a lot of people, I would say specifically 3 people that I see on a weekly basis who have lost over 40 pounds since going to Sherwood.tv. So 3 people that I see on a weekly basis have lost over 40 pounds as a result of going to Sherwood.tv, learning about the protocols you offer, and then following those. You tell people in advance what the protocol is going to be. That's very different from a lot of other medical programs that kind of hide the program or the protocol from the potential customer, from the potential patient. They hide it and they say, once you sign up, then we'll teach you the protocol. Why are you so transparent with teaching people what your protocol is going to be before they become a patient?
I think it produces trustworthiness, Clay, because a lot of times with what we do, transparency is key, because my wife and I do it too. And I'm not knocking anybody else. I just know that what you just said is very true. It is analogous to you making someone's company greater. I want to see their lives get greater. I want to optimize their health, give them the biological aging process of speed that's optimal so they're not aging too fast. And so we live it out, we do it. And then it's no secret, man. There are some processes that work. And I tell them, if you're willing to do this, this will work. And they see us doing it every day. We don't hide our lives and we don't shield them. We don't do something, tell them to do something we're not doing ourselves. So I think it's exactly as you said. And to your point, we deal with a lot of entrepreneurs that have worked with you and do work with you. So the interesting overlap is cool. I can think of a couple of people that we've worked with that also are your clients in their business, and I've watched their businesses explode as their personal lives explode. So the synergy there is just astounding to me as I think about that.
Now, I want to walk people through this again here, folks. Again, we're trying to walk you through that. How is it that a doctor, a medical provider, a health facility is able to grow their revenue by 8 times within a period of just a few years? How is that possible when 96% of businesses are failing? One is you have to have a proven plan. 2, you have to implement that plan each and every week. And 3, you have to measure what you treasure. You just have to measure what you treasure. You have to track or it's going to slack. And that's true with health, and it's true with wealth. You have to track or it's going to slack. And so any area of our lives, if you're listening right now, you talk about your faith, your family, your finance, your fitness, your friendship, your fun, any area where we are not achieving at our optimal performance, it's probably because we're not measuring what we're treasuring. It's probably we're not focusing on it. And again, I'm not attacking anybody out there. There's somebody out there listening right now. You are in phenomenal physical shape, and financially, you're not in shape. There's somebody else out there listening. You're in great financial shape. You're in great physical shape, but your family's not in great shape. Somebody else out there, you say you got your family, you got your faith, you got your fitness, you got your friendship. But you're really, really in a bad spot in another area. So whatever we measure is what we treasure. Talk about that for a second, because you have a way of helping your patients and your clients to measure what they treasure and to track. And I see people all the time coming into my office of being excited. They've lost 4 pounds. They lost 6 pounds. They lost 9 pounds. They lost 20. They lost 21 pounds. They lost 27 pounds. They lost 30. They lost 40. And you see people gaining confidence every week as they begin to take this massive goal they have and they start to see success day after day. Talk about measuring what you treasure.
Yeah, one thing I forgot to add too in the process, we have quarterly events. I mean, and I didn't, we have those things too, which are kind of cool. That's kind of a culmination of stuff that people can celebrate. But when we talk about measurables, we talk about this all the time. Physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, financial, the 5 parts of a human experience, and so, and I talk to them. I don't get into heavy dealings with their debt though, but I talk to them about eliminating debt and building equity. But I use that same terminology within health. I don't want wellness debt. I want wellness equity. So in other words, if you can't measure it, don't do it. I never do a test unless I know what I'm asking, what questions I'm trying to get answered, and why I'm measuring it. I don't do that. You mentioned weight loss. We have a unique way to measure that, not just about what the scale says, but I'm measuring their body composition, Clay. I'm measuring their percent body fat. I want to know how much muscle they've maintained or grown and how much fat they've been able to lose. I want to know their visceral fat level. I want to know their blood pressure. I want to know all their scores that I can find. We've even got tests that can score their biological aging processes and speeds and actualities. It quantifies that into measurable components. And so we're actually developing right now, and I haven't got it rolled out yet, a quotient. We're going to call it the FMI age, and it's going to be a little massive thing that we're going to put together. Because, I think people are aging in a way that is probably too fast, and I think we can probably age better. But to your point, I concur 1,000%. If you can't measure it and it's not quantifiable, don't do it, because then it becomes a distraction.
Now, I want to tap into your wisdom on this, let you kind of show off what you do a little bit here. One of my wonderful clients is called Kolaw Fitness, and Charles Kolaw started out doing personal training. And on part 2 of today's show, folks, you're going to hear his success story too. So you're going to hear the success story of TWA Photos. You're going to hear the success story of Kolaw Fitness. He started out doing personal training, and then he decided, I want to open up a gym. And then he said, I want to open up a second gym. And that's where we met him, is as he was scaling the business. And so what he does when people want to lose weight, I'll tell you his secret. He tells them, here's the deal. I need you to not eat wheat, no sweets, and no alcohol. And people are like, what? He's like, no wheat, no sweets, no alcohol. We'll see you 3 days a week working out. And he starts that process. He starts small, no wheat, no sweets, no alcohol, 3 days a week working out. And then over time, they start to add maybe more detail to it, more supplementation, more detail, maybe more vigorousness to it. But they start off with no wheat, no sweets, no alcohol, 3 days a week working out. And then they start to build on that foundation. I want to get your just for anybody out there that's thinking about becoming a Sherwood.tv patient or client, and they're maybe concerned about what's going to be required of them. What sort of life changes need to be made in the lives of people that, are thinking about implementing the Sherwood path? And I know there's a lot of details, a lot of research that you do into each and every patient, but what are a couple practical steps that every single one of your patients has to implement right away?
Well, I appreciate, I know Charles and his wife, great people, by the way, and I concur with what he said. That's a great start for anybody right there. So at least take that. I think for us, our advice would be simply put, If it's real food, eat it, don't diet. If it's an original package, it's fine. If you can imagine it being in that package in the Garden of Eden, it's fine. So I tell people typically to stay away. It's going to sound crazy. Anything the government subsidizes, don't do it. That's kind of what I tell them with food. And then people can go, oh, yeah, I get that, because the government subsidizes wheat, corn, soy, dairy, and that kind of mess, you know. So I tell them stay away from that. Then I tell them that every day I want you to try to get, you know, somewhere between about 7 hours, give or take, is probably, if you can get that much. And then I tell them every day that you don't move is a day you're dead. So I want them to move more, sit less. The days you don't move are the day that you are going to be into rigor mortis. So I make sure I tell them that. And then I want them to have the last little bit, speak life over self, man. Don't speak death over self. Because many times people can walk themselves into a process of oblivion by talking themselves into death every day, saying they can't do it.
Now, for anybody out there that hasn't worked with us, I mean, you and I have had the opportunity to work together faithfully each and every week now for years. What would you say the impact has been on your business? Working with us, you and I working together. For anybody out there who's maybe thinking about working with us or becoming a client of ours.
Well, without question, people need guidance today, Clay. It's like a ship without a rudder. You know, you represent the rudder. You can teach them how to drive, but you also shift that boat in the right direction. And I would recommend people do connect with you, because you will do a good job. It will be consistent. It will be predictable. And if people just copy these habits, no matter what business you're in, you can adapt them to the business. The habits work, and you will see a good return on that investment, and it will exponentially grow. And then the last thing I'll say with that, when you connect with Clay Clark, you need to set your bar high. He will not let you set that bar low, because he's going to stretch you, he's going to push you, and he's going to get I'll just say it like this, he will pull the potential out of you and get you believing again in a good way. So highly recommend it.
It's working with you has been an honor. It's a true win-win. For anybody out there that's looking for health optimization, check it out at Sherwood.tv. And again, what you do is so analogous for health to what we do for wealth. And so for anybody out there, if you're looking to optimize your health, check out Sherwood.tv. Dr. Sherwood, thank you so much. And again, for anybody out there that doesn't know the story here, which should be everybody, you and I were just talking offline the other day, and you were saying, hey, Clay, I just want you to know, since you and I first connected, we're up, 8 times. And I just thought, well, man, there's so much discouragement in the world we live in. We need to document this and get this on camera. So thank you for keeping us updated, sir. And I can't wait to have you on the show next week.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, as always.
Take care. Bye-bye. Well, Thrive Nation, we here at the Thrivetime Show, what we do is we help business owners to grow their businesses. The purpose is to create time freedom and financial freedom. And we've had a long time client that we've worked with, and this is sort of like our exit interview, because he's actually exited the business, and so he's at the other end of the rainbow, or he got to the top of the mountain, or he hit his big goal. And I'm honored to call him a friend and a longtime client. Tim Whaley, welcome on to the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing outstanding, Clay. Thank you for having me on.
Can you tell everybody, how did you first hear about what we do in terms of business coaching?
I first heard of you through your podcast, actually. So I started listening, was very intrigued. Actually, you had built and sold businesses in the industry that I was in. So it seemed like a natural fit to inquire about coaching.
Yeah.
And, once we connected and you did your, I'm not sure if it was an onboarding interview or it was more of you were going to determine whether or not we were a good fit. I think that was it. But once we did that, I was hooked and was really hoping that you would take me on as a client, which you did.
Now, before I met you, I mean, you'd been in business for a long time, and one would say you were probably the dominant resource, or one of the top providers in your industry before we even met. Could you tell the listeners how implementing the Dream 100 system impacted your business growth?
Oh my gosh! So within just a few short years, it doubled our revenue. plain and simple. So the Dream 100 was by far the secret sauce for our success, and really the reason why I was able to exit my business ahead of schedule. So just a brilliant program, makes total sense. As a company, it's one of the few marketing / advertising outlets that you have total control over. It's not like you're on, Facebook, which owns Facebook, or Google, which owns Google. But I mean, you own the system, you make it work, and great things happen.
Now, with the Dream 100, you have to identify the vendors that you want to refer you, or the prospects that you want to refer you. You have to identify the ideal and likely buyers that you want to refer you, and then you have to reach out to them consistently. And you guys have done a phenomenal job at doing that. What were a couple of the challenges of persistently reaching out to people to get them to refer you guys business?
Well, a couple things. One, you just really have to find the right fit. You have to find the right employee or employees, because really when you're going out there, you need somebody who's obviously great at building relationships, and that's a lot of different people. But what I found is you also just need a hunter killer. So it's not necessarily somebody who's very personable and great with people, but somebody with those qualities, but also just has like I said, a hunter killer, just has a drive to bring business in. And you find that person, and they just make it happen. And we were fortunate enough to find a couple great employees who were just very good at that.
And now that you have sold the business, you're going to stay on as an advisor to make sure that the brand is successful and that sort of thing. What does it feel like to be on the other side of the rainbow, or to be at the top of the mountain, or to be on the other side of selling a business that you started so many years ago?
Well, Clay, it's only been 6 weeks. So obviously some mixed feelings there. But if I had to put it in one word, I would have to say freedom.
Okay. Yeah.
So it feels pretty darn good. And my wife and I are very excited. And obviously we're still, we're still helping the new ownership transition and whatnot. So there's stuff we're doing and stuff to be done. But overall, it's, when you've been hitting it hard for 33 years, and then all of a sudden you don't have to, it feels pretty darn good. Not going to lie.
Now, Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I recently interviewed him, and he had me on his show, and it's been kind of fun to connect with this guy who wrote the Rich Dad, Poor Dad series, and it's just fun to connect with him. And he's been talking borderline obsessively on his show recently about it's not what people say, it's what they do. You need to watch what people do, not what they say. And I think a big thing about having a business coach or a personal trainer, if you're into fitness, is if you're into fitness, you need to have a nutritional plan, you need to have a workout plan, and then you need someone to hold you accountable. And if you're a business owner, you need to have a business plan, you need to have weekly actions that you need to implement, and then you need to have some accountability. How has having a business consultant or a coach to guide you down the path, how has that impacted you?
Tremendously. So there's a running joke between my wife and I. I will often say I'm the most consistently inconsistent person you want to meet. So historically, I've been the guy who starts this, goes for a little while, and then, sees I'm like a squirrel, right? I see the next great thing, and I'll go after that for a while. And then, so I'm an artist, right? I'm a photographer first, and business guy second, I guess. So you have helped corral my artist brain. And having, the weekly accountability calls and the action plan has definitely helped me stay focused on what needs to be focused on. So yeah, it's been life-changing, nothing short of life-changing.
Now, I want to pull up something real quick and get your thoughts on this, because, you and I have worked together, I think for what was that, 3 years, or was it, how long did we work together there before you exited the business? Do you know?
We started in 2019.
So 2019. Okay. So we've worked together for quite a while there. And, so 2019, wow. So that's almost 5 years, 4.5 years or so. But if we do a search for carpet cleaning quotes, I've worked with one particular brand for 14 years, I think almost 15 now, and they have 271,000 Google reviews. So for 14 consecutive years, I've been talking to the same ownership about you have to gather objective Google reviews from your ideal and likely buyers. You have to get reviews. After you clean the carpet, you have to gather video reviews and Google reviews. And we talk about it every week. And it's just like it's like bamboo. I keep coming back every week. You can't kill it. I come back every week talking about the reviews. And in a world now where people go online to look stuff up, this has been a powerful tool for oxyfresh.com. It's grown from a handful of locations now to 500 plus locations. How has gathering objective Google reviews and video reviews impacted your sales process?
Well, I feel it's a 1-2 punch, Clay. So Dream 100 and the reviews work hand in hand. So the majority of our business comes from the Dream 100, but that's one referral source. So our couples will be referred by venues, but they want to check us out. So they're going to go online and look for our reviews. So not only do you have to have a ton of reviews, but you have to have a ton of 5-star reviews. And so the referrals plus the social proof on Google brings them in.
Final questions I have for you, then I'll be done harassing you here, is, you now have got all the systems, the scripts, the website, the ads that work, the Dream 100 system going. And so to give people some clarity, you now have a turnkey marketing system in place. I mean, you have a Dream 100 system that works. You now have an online advertising program that works. You now have a sales process that works. It's all documented and it's all systemized for the new owner. So what would you say for anybody out there that is maybe thinking about coming to one of our in-person workshops or scheduling a free 13-point assessment with myself or a member of our team? What would you say to somebody who's kind of on the fence about maybe coming to a workshop or scheduling a free 13-point assessment?
Get off the fence. Just get off the fence. Bottom line. You've helped make my company sellable, right? So those systems is exactly what made our company attractive to the buyer. They were looking for a company that was highly successful, that they could then take and scale.
Yep.
And our business qualified because of what we've done over the last 5 years. And so, yeah, I would not hesitate. I've told anybody who's ever asked me about my coaching relationship with you and your organization, I said, I wouldn't hesitate. Never in a million years. You have literally changed my life as a result of what you've taught me.
You have got to come to Tulsa one of these days here. So I know you guys are going to enjoy your retirement or whatever it is you're doing. But at some point, if you ever get the bug and you ever start a new thing or you ever in the Tulsa area, I really want to see you guys. And you have my cell phone number. We can talk whenever. But I want to tell you, it's been an honor working with you. And it's been so exciting to help you hit your goals. And I know you've worked 30 plus years to go on this dream vacation lifestyle that you've built. What would you say to anybody out there that has a business and they feel, my final question for you, they feel overwhelmed by all the systems they have to build and they're not at the top of the mountain. They haven't sold the business yet. It isn't systemized and all they see is perpetual chaos. What would you say to that person?
Just take the next step, right? Every journey begins with the next step. And that next step should definitely be contacting you guys.
Tim,
if they just do that, the rest will take care of itself. You make sure of that. So,
Tim, it's an honor serving you again. I appreciate you very much. And don't be a stranger there, sir.
You got it. Thank you, Clay.
Take care, Chief. Bye.
Hey, Clay Clark and my Thrive peeps. It's Steve Currington, as you can tell. Although I'm not wearing my signature green shirt as usual, but I am riding in my signature green Lamborghini. And I just wanted to say how appreciative I am of Thrive and all the guys at Thrivetime and the show and everything that you guys have done. At Total Ending Concepts, we have had tremendous growth and a lot of things changing, especially on the marketing front. And from a coaching perspective and from a web presence and branding and our internet leads are up. Everything is hammering on all cylinders, and really we're just trying to figure out how we can leverage the systems and the processes that we're learning at Thrive more in our business. So now we're setting up a lead tracking system that has been long overdue, and we're doing lots of stuff. But I want to take a minute and say thank you to Thrive and Clay Clark and Dr. Z and everybody for all the help in helping us grow our business and hopefully buy more Lamborghinis like this the more we sell. So appreciate it, guys. See ya.
Hello, my name is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Crockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours where he does these tours all across the country where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. So I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy, Elon Musk kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company or, navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns, because our clubs were all closed for 3 months and you have $350,000 of bills you got to pay, and we have no accounts receivable. He helped us navigate that, and of course we were conservative enough that we could afford to take that on for a period of time. But it was anyways, great man. I'm very impressed with him. So Clay, thank you for everything you're doing, and I encourage you, if you haven't ever worked with Clay, work with Clay. He's going to help magnify you, and there's nobody I have ever met that has the ability to work as hard as he does. He probably sleeps 4, maybe 6 hours a day, and literally the rest of the time he's working, and he can outwork everybody in the room every single day, and he loves it. So anyways, this is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Thank you, Clay, and anybody out there that's wanting to work with Clay, it's a great opportunity to ever work with him. So you guys have a blessed one. This is Charles Kolaw. We'll see you guys. Bye-bye.
One of the biggest things we picked up when we picked up the Thrive 15 team was an entire team. You want an SEO guy that knows things about search engine optimization? Got it. You got a website guy that's built big websites like Garth Brooks' website? Awesome, we have it. He's coming in. If I had to pay for that on my own, outside of Thrive 15, there's just no way. For us, one of our most immediate needs when I got connected with Clay was technology. We had a website, but I had a website in Tulsa. Our other partner had a website in Colorado. They did everything from doing a drone video where they flew over all of our markets with a drone. They integrated that into our site. They built every single thing that I think of, they do. We do a podcast. If I was going to produce my own podcast, that alone, just that alone would be what I pay Thrive, just for that. But then if you add the fact that if I need a business card design, if I need a website build, if I need this, if I need that, I know what I would pay for that if I had to go a la carte. I feel guilty sometimes, like I don't probably write a big enough check for the value that I get. I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs that have ideas what they want to do with their business and how they want to grow and what market they want to be in and how they can increase production and do all this. But it's not about having 4,000 ideas. It's about having 12 and executing them 4,000 times. That's the trick, in my opinion, and that's where Thrive's value comes in. I feel like I have my own staff, my own 20-person team that when I need something, I just go to them and it happens.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
Okay, Aaron Antis, March 6th and 7th. March 6th and 7th, guess who's coming to Tulsa, Jerusalem?
Ooh, Santa Claus?
No, that's March. March 6th and 7th,
Oh.
You're going to be joined by Robert Kiyosaki.
Robert Kiyosaki.
Best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Probably the best-selling, or one of the best-selling business authors of all time. And he's going to be joined with Eric Trump. He'll be joined by Eric Trump. So we got Eric Trump and Robert Kiyosaki in the same place. Aaron, why should everybody show up to hear Robert Kiyosaki?
Well, you got billions of dollars of business experience between those two, not to mention many, many, many millions of books have been sold. Many, many millionaires have been made from the books that have been sold by Robert Kiyosaki. I happen to be one of them. I learned from the man. He was the inspiration. That book was the inspiration for me to get the entrepreneurial spirit, as many other people.
Now, since you won't brag on yourself, I will. You've sold billions of dollars of houses, am I correct?
That is true.
And the book that kickstarted it all for you,
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the author, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, the guy that kickstarted your career.
Yeah.
He's going to be here.
He's going to be here. I'm pumped.
And now Eric Trump, people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. There's not 50 employees. The Trump organization, again, most people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. And while Donald J. Trump was the 45th president of these United States and soon to be the 47th president of these United States, he needed someone to run the companies for him. And so the man that runs the Trump organization for Donald J. Trump, as he was the 45th president of the United States and now the 47th president of the United States, is Eric Trump. And so Eric Trump is here to talk about time management, promoting from within, marketing, branding, quality control, sales systems, workflow design, workflow mapping, how to build. I mean, everything that you see, the Trump hotels, the Trump golf courses, all their products, the man who manages billions of dollars of real estate and thousands of employees is here to teach us how to do it.
You are talking about one of the greatest brands on the planet from a business standpoint.
Right.
I mean, who else has been able to create a brand like the Trump brand? I mean, look at it. And this is the man behind the business for the last pretty much since 2015. He's been the man behind it. So you're talking, we're into 9 going into 10 years of him running it, and we get to tap into that knowledge. That's going to be amazing.
Now, think about this for a second. Would you buy a ticket just to see Robert Kiyosaki and Eric Trump? Of course you would.
Of course you would.
But we're also going to be joined by Sean Baker. This is the best-selling author, the guy who invented the carnivore diet.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Sean Baker. He's been on Joe Rogan multiple times. He's going to be joining us. So you've got Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Eric Trump, Sean Baker. The lineup continues to grow, and this is how we do our tickets here at the Thrivetime Show. If you want to get a VIP ticket, you can absolutely do it. It's $500 for a VIP ticket. We've always done it that way. Now, if you want to take a general admission ticket, it's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. And the reason why I do that, and the reason why we do that is because we want to make our events affordable for everybody. I grew up without money. I totally understand what it's like to be in a tight spot. So if you want to attend, it's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. That's how I do it. And it's $500 for a VIP ticket. Now, we only have limited seating here. With the most people we've ever had in this building was for the Jim Brewer presentation. Jim Brewer came here, the legendary comedian Jim Brewer came to Tulsa
Tulsa, and we had 419 people that were here. 419 people.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, there's no more room. I felt kind of bad that a couple people had VIP seats in the men's restroom. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. But I thought, you know what? We should probably add on. So we're adding on what we call the upper deck, or the top shelf. So the seats are very close to the presenters, but we're actually building right now. We're adding on to the facility to make room to accommodate about another 30 attendees or more. So again, if you want to get tickets for this event, all you have to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. When you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you'll go there, you'll request a ticket, boom. Or if you want to text me, if you want a little bit faster service, you say, I want you to call me right now. Just text my number. It's my cell phone number, my personal cell phone number. We'll keep that private between you, me, everybody. We'll keep that private. In anybody. Don't share that with anybody except for everybody. That's my private cell phone number. It's 918-851-0102. 918-851-0102. I know we have a lot of Spanish-speaking people that attend these conferences, and so to be bilingually sensitive, my cell phone number is 918-851-0102.
That is not actually bilingual. That's just saying Juan for a one. It's not the same thing.
I think you're attacking me. Now, let's talk about this. Now, what kind of stuff will you learn at the Thrivetime Show workshop? So, Aaron, you've been to many of these over the past 7-8 years. So let's talk about it. I'll tee up the thing, and then you tell me what you're going to learn here, okay?
Okay.
You're going to learn marketing and branding. What are we going to learn about marketing and branding?
Oh, yeah. We're going to dive into, so many people say, I got to get my brand known out there, like the Trump brand, right? You want to get that brand out there. It's like, how do I actually make people know what my business is and make it a household name? You're going to learn some intricacies of how you can do that.
You're going to learn sales. So many people struggle to sell something. This just in, your business will go to hell if you can't sell. So we're going to teach you sales. We're going to teach you search engine optimization, how to come up top in the search engine results. We're going to teach you how to manage people. Aaron, you have managed, no exaggeration, hundreds of people throughout your career and thousands of contractors. And most people struggle with managing people. Why does everybody have to learn how to manage people?
Well, because first of all, you either have great people or you have people who suck. And so it can be a challenge, learning how to work with a large group of people and get everybody pulling in the same direction can be a challenge. But if you have the right systems, you have the right processes, and you're really good at selecting great ones, and we have a process we teach about how to find great people. When you start with the people who have a great attitude, they're teachable, they're driven, all of those things, then, you can get those people all pulling in the same direction.
So we're going to teach you branding, marketing, sales, search engine optimization. We're going to teach you accounting. We're going to teach you personal finance, how to manage your finance. We're going to teach you time management. How do you manage your time? How do you get more done during a typical day? How do you build an organization if you're not organized? How do you do organization? How do you build an org chart? Everything that you need to know to start and grow a business will be taught during this 2-day interactive business workshop. Now, let me tell you how the format is set up here. And again, folks, this is a 2-day interactive 15. Think about this, folks. It's 2 days. Each day it starts at 7 a.m. and it goes until 5 p.m. So from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., 2 days. It's a 2-day interactive workshop. The way we do it is we do a 30-minute teaching session, and then we break for 15 minutes for a question and answer session. So, Aaron, what kind of great stuff happens during that 15-minute question and answer session after every teaching session?
I actually think it's the best part about the workshops, because here's what happens. I've been to lots of these things over the years. I've paid many thousands of dollars to go to them. And you go in there and they talk in vague generalities, and they're constantly upselling you for something, trying to get you to buy this thing or that thing or this program or this membership. And you leave not getting your very specific questions answered about your business or your employees or what you're doing on your marketing. And what's awesome about this is we literally answer every single question that any person asks, and it's very specific to what your business is.
And what we do is we allow you as the attendee to write your questions on the whiteboard.
Yep.
And then we literally, as you mentioned, we answer every single question on the whiteboard. And then we take a 15-minute break to stretch and to make it entertaining when you're stretching. This is a true story. When you get up and stretch, you'll be greeted by mariachis.
Sure.
There's going to probably be alpaca here, llamas, helicopter rides, a coffee bar, a snow cone. There's just...
You had a crocodile one time. That was pretty interesting.
I
write that down and actually do that.
Sorry for that one guy that we lost.
The crocodile, we duct taped its face so that we duct taped.
No, it was a baby crocodile.
And it was duct tape.
Yeah, duct tape around the mouth so it didn't bite anybody. But it was really cool passing that thing around and petting
I should do that. I should. We have a small petting zoo that will be assembled. It's going to be great. And then you're in the company of hundreds of entrepreneurs. So there's not a lot of people in America today. In fact, there's less than 10 million people today, according to U.S. Debt Clock, that identify as being self-employed. So if you have a country with 350 million people, that means you have less than 3% of our population that's even self-employed. Yeah. So you only have 3 out of every 100 people in America that are self-employed to begin with. And when Inc. magazine reports that 96% of businesses fail by default, you have a 1 out of 1,000 chance of succeeding in the game of business. But yet the average client that you and I work with, we can typically double this. And this is no hyperbole, no exaggeration. And I have thousands of testimonials to back this up. We have thousands of testimonials to back it up. But when you work with a home builder, when I work with a business owner, we can typically double the size of the company within 24 months.
Yeah.
Double. And you say double? Yeah, there's businesses that we have tripled. There's businesses we've grown 8x. There's so many examples you can see at thrivetimeshow.com. But again, this is the most interactive, best business workshop on the planet. This is objectively the highest rated and most reviewed business workshop on the planet. And then you add to that Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You add to that Eric Trump, the man that runs the Trump Organization. You add to that Sean Baker. Now you might take, but Clay, is there more? I need more. Well, okay, Tom Wheelwright is the wealth strategist for Robert Kiyosaki. So people say, Robert Kiyosaki, who's his financial wealth advisor? Who's the guy who manages, who's his wealth strategist? His wealth strategist, Tom Wheelwright, will be here. And you say, Clay, I'm not going to get a ticket unless you give me more. Okay, fine. We're going to serve you the same meal both days. True story. We cater in the food, and because I keep it simple, I literally bring in the same food both days for lunch. It's Ted Escondido's, an incredible Mexican restaurant. That's going to happen. And Jill Donovan, our good friend, who is the founder of Rustic Cuff. She started that company in her home, and now she sells millions of dollars of apparel and products. That's rusticcuff.com. And someone says, I want more. This is not enough.
Give me more.
Okay. I'm not going to mention their names right now because I'm working on it behind the scenes here. But we've got one guy who's given me a verbal to be here. And this is a guy who's one of the wealthiest people in Oklahoma, and nobody really knows who he is because he's built systems that are very utilitarian, that offer a lot of value. He's made a lot of money in it's where you rent. It's short term. It's where you're renting storage spaces. He's a storage space guy. He owns what do you call that? The rental,
storage space.
Storage units. This guy owns storage units. He owns railroad cars. He owns a lot of assets that make money on a daily basis, but they're not like customer facing. Most people don't know who owns the mini storage facility, or most people don't know who owns the warehouse that's passively making money. Most people don't know who owns the railroad cars, but this guy, he's given me a verbal that he will be here, and we just continue to add more and more success stories. So if you're out there today and you want to change your life, you want to give yourself an incredible gift, you want a life-changing experience, you want to learn how to start and grow a company, go to thrivetimeshow.com. Go there right now, thrivetimeshow.com. Request a ticket for the 2-day interactive event. Again, the day here is March 6th and 7th. March 6th and 7th, we just got confirmation. Robert Kiyosaki, best-selling author, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he'll be here. Eric Trump, the man who leads the Trump Organization. It's going to be a blasty blast. There's no upsells. Aaron, I could not be more excited about this event.
I think it is incredible. And there's somebody out there right now, you're watching and you're like, but I already signed up for this incredible other program called Smoke Your Way to Thin. You think that's going to change your life? I promise you, this will be 10 times better than that.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
Don't do the Smoke Your Way to Thin conference. I've tried it. Don't do it.
Yeah, chain smoking is not a viable. I mean, it is life-changing. It is life-changing. If you become a chain smoker, it is life-changing.
Not the best weight loss program, though.
Right. Really. So if you're looking to have life-changing results in a way that won't cause you to have a stoma, get your tickets at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's Aaron Antis. I'm Clay Clark, and reminding you and inviting you to come out to the 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show workshop right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I promise you, it will be a life-changing experience. We can't wait to see you right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.